Hi, everyone. My name is Kim Kohatsu. We're here with our third Thursday monthly discussion. I'm here with the PickFu co-founders, Justin Chen and John Lee. Say hi, you guys.
Hi, you guys. Hey, everybody.
So we started Third Thursday as a monthly live chat. And if you are watching this live, go ahead and input your questions in the chat, in the comments on Facebook or the comments on YouTube, and we will answer them live. If you're watching the replay, you can go to this link and submit your questions, and we will get to them next time. So if you are watching live, feel free to ask us any question, anything you want to talk about. And if you go to that link, you can actually submit a poll that you'd like us to run, and we'll actually discuss the results in detail. But while we wait for people to join us, I thought that it would be great to address some commonly asked questions about who actually answers your PickFu polls. And in general, we call them the PickFu Panel. And the PickFu Panel is comprised of about 10,000 or so people. They're all in the US. They all speak English. They're all, most of them are long-standing poll respondents with us. And so we just kind of want to talk about who this group is and, what kinds of things that we do to make sure that you get the most out of your PickFu poll. So I'm just going to share a few examples of how you can really get laser focused in some of your polling. So in this example, this is a seller who is, I believe, trying to decide which Halloween headband they're going to sell. And if you look really closely, you can see that the respondent pool is 50 female Amazon Prime members between the ages of 25 and 34. So it's really laser focused. And, you're really getting the opinions of the people that, are the most likely to buy this product. And we've always found you get better results if you ask people what they themselves would do rather than trying to get them to put themselves in the mind of somebody else. So it's really great when, like in this example, female Amazon Prime members between the ages of 25 and 34 are probably pretty likely target for a product like this. So which one would you actually buy versus what do you think a female in that age would buy? Here's another example. This is for a coconut oil, and they are deciding the packaging design. And once again, I'll show you. It's a female Amazon Prime member between the ages of 25 and 44 this time, but also that's a heavy body care user. And so what we do when we interview people to join the PickFu panel is we ask them about their consumer behaviors. So, what kind of products do you buy? What kind of products do you use on a regular basis? And so you get really good answers that way, again, because people are speaking for themselves rather than trying to put themselves in the mind of somebody else. This is another Halloween product, which I think is pretty fun. It's kind of a lederhosen Halloween costume. And the audience here is 50 beer drinkers. So this is a mix of men and women. And you can see the demographic background below, and you can see, their ages and everything. And if you roll over any individual answer, you can see, okay, well, this was, a male in between the ages of 18 and 24. But obviously, if I'm going to an Oktoberfest party or something like that, I mean, more likely a beer drinker is going to be interested in this kind of costume than a non-beer drinker. So I think that this is another really good example of how you can use the PickFu panel and the audience targeting to your advantage. One last example I will show. This is for a cat toy. And the audience here is 50 cat owners. So once again, you will get a mixture of men and women, different age groups, but all of them have cats. And, you can see what angle they prefer, and, kind of the addition of this cat and mouse, it was sort of the preferred. And actually, if you go onto Amazon, this is the image that is live now on Amazon. So those are just some of the ways I think that when you use audience targeting on PickFu, you get really good answers, because like I said, people are speaking from their own experiences, and they are the target demographic that you are aiming for. So with that, let's talk a little bit more about this panel. Once again, if you're just joining us, feel free to input any questions that you have into the comments, and we will answer them live. So John, why don't you start us off by telling us some of the audiences that are available in the PickFu panel?
Sure thing. So the PickFu panel, we have, first of all, the general range of audiences that you might think of: gender, age, demographics, household income, and so on. But over time, we've also built up some really unique audiences for our customers that you might not have thought of before. So some of the more interesting ones that we've seen, besides sort of the cat drinkers, not the cat drinkers, I'm sorry, cat owners, beer drinkers, and so on. You can target by whether or not the respondent listens to podcasts or audiobooks, types of books that they prefer, physical books versus ebooks. Like I said before, cat and dog owners, there's travel frequency. So if you're selling a travel product, or if you're in the travel industry, then you can target by how frequently people travel, maybe not so much these days. Gardening interests, nutritional supplements. We've had people who've used our cryptocurrency targeting. If they're working in the cryptocurrency space and just want to run product ideas by people who are actually into cryptocurrency or own it, people who've participated in crowdfunding, and you can even target by mobile gamers and literally down to the level of App Store spend that they've spent buying apps and so on.
Yeah, we've heard from customers, that request these things. And, over the years, we've been able to add all of these audiences for them, so long as, they meet kind of a minimum threshold, so that we can offer the speed and the quality that you've come to expect. Mm-hmm. So speaking of speed, Justin, why don't you tell us a little bit about, how answers come in so quickly?
Sure. Like you mentioned before, we kind of have a long-standing relationship with a lot of our respondents in the panel. So we've got a really good reputation with them, and so they're generally very responsive to answering our polls. And we do pay them, so they're paid a small stipend for every poll question that they're answered. So they're motivated to do a good job and to do it quickly. Generally, the polls are first come, first serve. So speed is kind of the essence if they want to complete them and to get paid. So that's another reason that they do come in so quickly. And there's also like some kind of, we've got some like bonus structures and things like that in place to like incentivize things if it started to take a little bit too long, because we do want to make sure that the poll responses come in very quickly for the sake of our customer experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Why don't we talk a little bit, John, about how people come into the PickFu panel? How do we recruit?
Sure. So we work with a number of third-party panel providers, and we basically recruit our panelists from these third-party panel providers. And we don't just take anyone who, these panel providers have audiences coming and going all the time, but we don't just take anyone who wants to answer PickFu polls. We build a layer of quality control on top of that. So when a respondent wants to come in and join the PickFu panel, first and foremost, we require them to sign an NDA and agree to the NDA, so that any polls and any information that they see when responding to polls, they're not allowed to divulge anywhere. And on top of that, we have both human and machine learning systems in place, so that we're always evaluating their answers for quality. We're pruning out poor respondents and so on.
Yeah, I always like to say it's not just randos on the internet.
Nope.
They start off as randos on the internet, but then we take time to make sure they're not so rando.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an important distinction to make, that compared to some other like surveying solutions, like we're not popping up ads in front of people's content or blocking the game that you're trying to play. In a lot of those cases, they're trying to like get through it as quickly as possible, and there's really no incentive for them to actually answer it well.
Yeah.
So like you see that with some of the Google customer surveys, like blocking the article you're trying to read, and you're just like, you know, clicking as fast as you can to get it through. So our people are really incentivized to do a good job. And like John was saying, like we're constantly rating and reviewing all of the respondents and all of their responses, both automatically and with a human. Our team like does human curation of checking on respondents that are not doing as well and kind of warning them, making sure that they are putting in the genuine effort that our customers come to expect.
And it's definitely a tricky balance because you have expectations from the customer side, but then you also have you have the devotion and sort of the expectation from the respondent side. And there are sometimes, you know, we allow the opportunity for all customers to vote on every answer as to whether an answer was helpful or not helpful. And sometimes a customer who's running a poll might think that an answer is not helpful because it doesn't directly address, or maybe they misconstrue the answer, or it doesn't directly address what they're trying to get at from the question that they were asking. So they might click a response as not helpful, but it could be a very well-formed, long, thoughtful response, just not helpful in the customer's context. In that case, we've had a lot of cases where the respondents come back to us because we tell them that their answer was marked not helpful. They'll come back and say, hey, what was going on? You know, I pride myself on giving really good responses. I enjoy the polls and so on. So can you help explain why someone marked this not helpful? And we have to sort of be that middleman between the tension between the two sides.
Definitely. And we definitely take time to look at sort of an individual respondent's sort of body of work. It's not just, you know, one flag or one score that, you know, dooms them forever. We like Justin said, we develop these sort of long-standing relationships with these panelists. So they really do come to get to know us, and they know what PickFu is. They understand the job at hand. They know they're supposed to be honest. But, you know, honesty doesn't always feel the greatest, or, you know, it can be misunderstood in a lot of ways. And so, you know, you're right. I think that we do take the time to make sure that we're balancing both of those considerations. So we have a question from YouTube. Hi, Keith. I think this is a pretty commonly asked question, which is, are there applications online? Or basically, I think what he's asking is, how do I join the PickFu panel? And the answer is, we don't actually recruit directly. That may change in the future. I'm not sure. I think if you go into PickFu's help documentation, there is a list you can join. You know, if we do decide to recruit directly in the future, but because we do work with third-party panel services, you wouldn't go through us. You would go through them. Do either of you guys have anything to add as far as that goes?
No, I think that's right.
Okay. So Keith, I hope that's that's what you were asking. I'm pretty sure that is what you were asking. So, you know, I also just wanted to bring up that one of the other interesting things that you can do with the PickFu panel is you have the ability to ask follow-up questions. So I'm going to share my screen again. And if you have run a poll, then let's say, you know, you want clarity on an answer, or you want, you know, just, you would like them to expand upon, you know, what they wrote, then you have the ability to do that. So this is one of the polls in our gallery that asks about this workout towel and water bottle set. And if I go down to the responses, I'll just show you an example. This respondent, who is a 25 to 34-year-old male, he said, choice A is cleaner and put better together. B looks weird with the spacing in between them. And the follow-up question that the person running the poll asked was, could you explain why the spacing looks weird? And this person comes back and he says, it looks weird to me because there isn't a need for the gaps in between the items. It makes it look like an amateur took the picture and placed everything together. And so, that's just sort of, a clarification. So these are the gaps that he is talking about. He kind of just prefers that all the images be together. And I think that that's another way to get more value out of your poll. And we've heard respondents tell us like, wow, this is how I knew, my input really matters. And, they've told us like it really meant a lot that this person reached out to me to give more detail. So follow-up questions are another way that you can get more value out of the PickFu panel.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to add that I think this highlights part of the differentiation that we provide with our service is that not only is there written feedback, but you can have this dialogue with individual respondents, and it does kind of mimic that digital focus group feel in a lightweight manner. It also really highlights like the genuine effort that our respondents put into answering the questions, and the fact that they are real human beings on the other end answering these questions, and not automated bots.
Exactly. Yes. So at this time, I would love if anyone watching has any questions, feel free to put them in the excuse me, there's a frog in my throat. Feel free to ask away. Otherwise, I will just remind you that we are still taking applications for our PickFu Small Business Grant. And what we have done here basically is if your business has been impacted by COVID-19, you can apply. It's a very short application. And we are awarding a total of $20,000. It's 100 impacted businesses get $200 in PickFu credit. And we've already started to award some of these grants. We've had people tell us that they're going to use it to try to pivot to a new product, launch something else, besides maybe it was a travel product, or something that business just isn't what it used to be. So please feel free. We're still taking applications to visit this link, pickfu.com/COVID, and apply for that grant. Do you guys have any thoughts about the COVID grant?
No, I mean, I think it's really exciting to see, to be able to help these small businesses. And like you said, a lot of them are trying new things. I think this is a great opportunity to try new things. I think some people are writing the book that they never thought they would have time to do, but now they do. So we've got a number of people who are writing books and they want to get feedback on, titles and covers or even book ideas. So it's really neat to see the kinds of things that people are working on right now.
Yeah, it's super inspirational to see what people are trying to do at these times, either a pivot or chasing a dream or rebuilding the business, so.
Absolutely. It's been very it's been very rewarding to see how PickFu can help, but also just to be inspired by how people are, using this as a moment of opportunity, even though it's very much kind of a crisis at the same time. Okay, so it looks like there aren't any questions that have come in. If you're watching this replay, you can submit questions at the link below, pfu.ly/Third Thursday. You can also submit any poll you would like us to run, and maybe we will go through the results in detail in our next Third Thursday session. But otherwise, I hope you all are staying safe and healthy out there, and we will catch you next month on the third Thursday of the month. So thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks.